It's our 7th week, people, and we are trying to finish with assembly methods. We are still talking about assembly methods classification by bases, how they are classified, how they are distinguished depending on which base they use. And what we had already have studied, what Madam did, Madam opened the wrong file again. What we have already have studied together with you, it was about the assembly method by contour, exactly, assembly methods by skin, by inner surface of skin, so-called by mockups, because we use mockup elements, and assembly method using uh, the airframe surfaces, outer surfaces of airframe during laccating, and what they are significantly differ with. Until I'm talking, I will try to open correct file once again. They are very similar. They have similar names, and I usually do mistake. What they are different with? No, in this file, in little pictures, you still see it. You see one of so-called diagram of assembling, and this diagram of assembling represents as order of assembling. In this case, both the assembled item panel and the jig for assembling this item. We see composition of panel, skin, stringers, frames, and knees. And we see the composition arrangement of assembly jig. It consists of skeleton, locators of contour, and clamps for this panel. Maybe we need also locators of holes, but no any locator of hole is mentioned here. So it comes about contour methods. And how to understand whether it comes about the method by skin or method by inner surface of skin or method of locating to the airframe. In this particular case, we may exclude one of these techniques, certainly. We may say that it's either by skin or by inner surface of skin, because here we see skin at the first place. So we're starting with skin. But certainly it's not that one, because in this case, the sequence will start with another elements, with elements which are called frames and stringers. And what else they are different with, besides of order of assembling, besides of approach to locating of parts to that or another surface. In the file that we have used during some days, and I hope you do remember, we have even screenshots of it. Pay attention here, да? By outer surface of skin, by skin in its common name. Accuracy plus minus 35. By inner surface of skin, by mockups, accuracy plus minus 0.5. It's already almost twice more. It's not twice, but almost. No, let it be 1.5 more. And by outer surface of frame, it's plus minus 0.7, twice worse than it was here. Moreover, I said that visually it's possible to distinguish jigs we are using during these processes. Those who are experienced engineers, they may understand with ease what it comes about, which technique is used, just by amount and location of these locators. Where we have the maximum amount of locators in the third technique, where we have airframe surface. Why? Because in this case we are starting with locating of each element of transversal airframe, of transversal skeleton of aircraft, and it means that in front of each skeleton you must have contour locator. Next, the second at this place amount of locator is locating by outer surface of skin, when we may place locators approximately on the distance 1 meter, no, around 1 meter, let it be 1 meter, 0.9, 0.7 even meter, up to I have seen 1.5, but that depends on thickness of skin, on stiffness of skin. If the more stiff skin, the more distance between locators is available. Skin should be deformable a bit, but it should be strength stiff enough to carry loads during locating of another elements to the skin and to keep the shape, to hold the same shape between locators, in between locators, I mean in the area between locators. And the minimum amount of locators will be here, where we're talking about the mock-up elements. You have seen, I hope you do remember that jig I have shown, the rear fuselage of Boeing. It was a couple of locators on distance of some meters at all, and they were mock-up frames, but that was already section assembly, not unit assembly. And what it comes about locating of rather stiff elements, either with thick skin, like in elements of wing or stabilizer, especially of big airplanes, where even stabilizer may be used as a fuel tank. Or it comes about locating of during the aggregate and compartment or section locating, it comes about locating of assembly units already. So techniques are different with complexity of jig, and as a result, they are different with, on one hand, it comes about different cost of jig. Jig may be more expensive, less expensive. Where is the less expensive? Of course, here, because it's the simpler jig. Where the most expensive? That one, by airframe, where you have a couple of locators, not even one locator, because next you need one more, not locator, we call it changeable locator, but really it comes usually about clamps. No, by their function, they are clamps, and that is why it has another color here in our explanation. And as a result, the work in such jig will have different complexity for employee and different period of work, different assembly period. The longest assembly period here, where you have maximum locators, moreover, time to time you need to change them. The shortest period of assembling, of course, here, where we have mock-up elements. As a result, it's not just comes about the organization of work, it also comes about salary for employee. The longer employee working, the more salary of employee will be, on the condition of the same qualification degree, of course. And it means also that you have different technological cost of assembly work because of that or another assembly method. It's somehow to the question how to select assembly method, how to choose assembly method, which one is appropriate. Above the all, we watch your accuracy. Under conditions of equal accuracy, like you are not much limited by demands of accuracy, you already start thinking about the price, about money, and about period of assembly. Time of assembling and money of assembling. And I always emphasize this fact that we have two different understanding of money and time. We have money we spend in manufacturing one by one, like circle by circle, when we're producing the same things. And this repeatable money, of course, they should be as little as possible if it comes about serial manufacturing, if you're going to repeat it hundreds and thousands of times. If it comes about their producing of one or two airplanes and that's it, no any pieces of this type of airplane you're going to produce, then more important for you, what are your expenses for pre-production? As a rule, the more expenses for pre-production, next, they are reflected with reducing the expenses in real manufacturing, if it comes about serial manufacturing. The same story is with time. The more time you spend in pre-production, more probably the less time you will spend in assembly work. And once again, it's necessary to remember about such a factor as, as I said, first is accuracy at the first place. No? And this accuracy is demanded by designer above the all and demanded no, in turn. It depends on type of airplane, whether it's subsonic passenger aircraft or it's supersonic and military one, or no, I don't know, let it be some scientific, for instance, but supersonic. Different demands to accuracy, different complexity of assembly units of this aircraft, and different sizes of them. As a result, you are either limited with selection of assembly method or not. If you are not limited in terms of you have choice between 5 of them, how to select. Next factor goes into operation is program and volume of manufacturing. And next already you are calculating money, comparing money and time, both of manufacturing and reproduction. And after this assessment, you might say which assembly technique is more appropriate for you. And my dear gentlemen, let's take a look once again. Contour methods, skin, inner skin mockups, and airframe or biframe. And one more picture here that we have already seen, but we're not much discussing it yet. In terms of sizes and this chain of errors, once again remind you, dear gentlemen, that when we are talking about this equation of errors, we're already preparing to the next series of questions which you need also to study and which you have both in your bachelor work and you have similar tasks in pre-graduate class. I hope you understand that. Well, technique of assembling by coordinate fixing flows. What we start with here. Somehow it's pay attention. It's similar to what we have in technique of assembling by airframe because we are starting with frame again with this green stuff. No, you see it. And pay attention that each time when we were talking about contour methods, we use this orange or gold-like color for locators. Pay attention where locator is. Here we have seen locators, but they were in different position with respect to the skin, with respect to the skeleton of airframe. Do we see something like this here? No. Where the jig? Where locator of jig? No, literally, locator is this hole or pin. You see, orange one, gold one. Where the jig? All the jig you see here. It's extremely primitive thing actually. In order you may imagine what it looks like, we will open this. We will open this to see the photos of jigs. Certainly we have opened it last time in this place. By the word, guys, here you see locating chart, one of task in your bachelor work and the task for your pre-graduate. I hope you do remember. Так, next, photos, да. Look, that one we have already seen, and locating jig, locating on the CFH. Do compare, we have jig which locates something to outer contour of skin. No, it's for little airplane, for the wing of little airplane. What do we see? We see skeleton of the jig, blue one, and these contour locators. If you not mind, in our telegram, no, I hope you have watched this video. You can't even imagine how difficult it was to me to make it. As I said, certainly not my day. It's probably something wrong happened. Look at this. Here you see jig also for locating the elements of flap. And do pay attention what complexity of the jig is, how much locators we have. And somewhere on back side there, that it's not visible. After even the jig with green locators or stabilizers, we have a jig for panel assembling. No, I have no photo right now or video to show you. That is why I will show you another one. Pay attention to this. That is photo of real jig for assembling the fin. Fin, it's not little thing. I hope you understand it. And is it possible just to copy it? Like it? No. I thought to drop it into your Telegram immediately. No, seems like, as I say, not my doing. I will try to show it a bit bigger now. Ну что ж оно меня не слушается? I don't know why it's not listening to me properly. Not subordinates. Так. О. How to compare what we have seen here. Да? Look at this. Oh, some imitation, let it be, of jig skeleton. That one, you see. Да? What do we see here as blue one? I will try. Bye. Working. Working. People, I'm trying hard. I hope you appreciate for my efforts. Look at this. No. I'm so awkward today. I hope visible. Yes. And where this green element, greenish thing? No, it's not a panel. Да? That is why instead of frames, we have here. I'm afraid to touch it. It will disappear again. We have ribs. Pay attention. This element, no, a stick with hole or stick with pin. Here, no way you see blinking of pointer. Just a rough bar of metal with roughly joined bushings. Inside of these rough bushings, either pin or little bushings, as we have seen in laboratory video explanation, which may be inserted there and joined with cement, but it's already positioned due to the measuring. It's already positioned with very high accuracy. Where another locator of CFH visible in this case because it's already half assembled. Another locators of CFH here in a spa and somewhere here they are visible. And here they are also visible, but everything no, it's already not visible properly. Of course, they are overlapped with structure. No, you might assess on your own the difference in complexity of jig and now we may increase it. I trust of this jig and of this jig or that jig or moreover something like this. Yeah? That is typical contour jig, and that is jig for locating bicarbonate fixing hole. But do pay attention, of course, that this fin, it's already not so delicate structure. It's already not made of thin elements like look, their sizes with respect to their thickness. They give some stiffness which appropriate for assembling by this technique. And pay attention also that these elements like frame, spars, which first are located by CFH, they are stiff enough, they are massive. So what should we say about the technique bicarbonate fixing hole locating? In general, what in the most general sequence of it starts also with transversal elements, either it's frame or its rib when it comes about wing or stabilizer or fin. These elements, why we choose it, when we choose it, these elements, they should be more stiff than skin. That is why they are preferable comparatively to the skin. It's rather similar story to what we were talking here. Here, I said, oh, computer already counteracting a bit. And you see that I do not remember whether I explained it here, the all dimensional chain or not. I will now, together with this one. Here we have frame. First, we are placing the frame, and frame we use frame or rib or whatsoever, any elements of skeleton. So frame stringers, first we join them, locate them and join them, and next we cover it with skin. Why? Because skin is not usable in this case as a base. Skin is thin and non-stiff. Moreover, it may be made not of metal at all. It may be made of fabric, textile. It may be made of paper, anything. It comes about either little airplanes which have no high specific aerodynamic load on the surfaces, or it comes about airplanes elements which are important in accuracy yet, because you see accuracy is rather high comparatively to the technique by CFH. But they have no thin skins just because they are little. Something like trimmers, ailerons, flaps, and other things of not great not great in size airplanes. But why we use this one? Why we don't? The most expensive. I hope you do remember the most expensive out of all contour methods, and jig is extremely inconvenient to work because it's tough to work there. It's little place between locators, and it's difficult to insert even the fist hand palm of man, especially when it's with some manual tooling. I mean drill gun, rivet gun, and so on. Everything is too much complicated to work in such a jig. And additionally, how this problem may be solved? The permanently opening and closing these locators that extends the period of assembling additionally. In contrary to the jigs that we have seen in the photo, which correspond to this technique. And in this case, jig is easy peasy, extremely cheap, seems like. The jig is practically open to access, and you have no problem neither to locate nor to join something. Very convenient to work. So jig is cheap. Technique is simple for locating, for accessing to elements of structure. Everything is great, but must be some disadvantage. Where is the disadvantage? That one. Accuracy already practically twice worse than it was accuracy of locating of first technique by skin. First technique I said. That one. No? By CFH it's already almost twice less accurate. Let's try to understand how it's happened once again. No, there first. Let's copy some errors, not errors, sizes. Так, стрелочки, пойдемте с нами. Вы нам нужны. Green one, it's thickness of skin. I'm reminding myself. Blue one, it's coordination error. Let's go first here. Here it means outer surface of frame method of locating, contour locating by airframe. Oh, and let's try to do something in this piece of trash. No, no. Control Z. Control. No. Anyway, at the same place. Okay. We will try to work with this system of sizes. Look. No, I will move them down in order they do not overlap it with other signs. Once again, remind you they explain sizes, these places. First, red one, it's our size to theoretical outline. Its size we are much interested in. Theoretical outline here. Next, we had size of jig, that one, gold one. Size of jig is, in our case, size to the contour of locator. Now, next we have, and what we locate to this locator, in contrary to what we did first, some previous times, yeah? We had difference between skin and let me to place it even here. No, of course, in this case, it will be not much understandable, maybe, да? I'm trying to show you what is the difference. It comes about locating not to the skin, but frame, да? Frame and locator, like this. It's size between frame and locator this time, not between skin and locator, like it was here, да? Between skin, purple one, and locator, between skin and locator, it was a size, да? Now we're talking about size between frame and locator. And next, when we place here frame and frames, some frames we place together, join them together. Next, we are going to use one more size. It's appearing one more size. After we remove this gold-like locator, it's appeared one more size. That blue one, it's error of coordination between frame and locator. I hope it's somehow at least visible. And one more. Wait a sec. Так ты будешь работать или нет? It's refused to work as I'd like. And one more that we have. No, let me to leave it here, and I will extend between frame and skin, because after we assembled all the frames and stringers together, we remove locators of contour and we place skin to this new assembled skeleton in order to cover it with skin. It's somehow similar to what we have, what you see here, old-fashioned jig, of course, да? Which realize this technique of assembling. First, they assemble the skeleton of structure, in this case of wing, which consists of ribs and spars and stringers. And next, they're going to cover it with skin. You see. And because of this, it's appearing one more error of coordination. Size between frame and skin. And here we have additional size on the way. That one is size of skin, which we are not really interested now, да? On the way to our theoretical outline, which must correspond to the outer surface of skin, we have one more size, and this size is thickness of skin. Take a look onto this chain here. So all error of assembly, that one, this size, assembly size, it depends on size of contour locator by contour now, and it's important here it said by contour. The difference, that one, which I was struggling for so long, between this error of coordination, size of difference between shape of locator and shape of particular frame. Maybe you have produced 100 of frames, and they're all a little bit different. Of course, in the range of tolerance, but they're a little bit different, and they do not correspond ideally to locator. That one is the difference between locator and jig, error of coordination. We might designate it with letter E also, but traditionally we designate it like C, coordination error. Coordination error between jig and frame by contour. Next, after we removed contour locators, no, I hope you do remember, we assembled the skeleton and now we removed contour locators in order to cover it with skin. After we removed contour locators, we have error of coordination. What that one? Now you see it. Error of coordination between frame and skin, because also you have 100 of frames, you have 100 of skins, and they are a little bit different. And additionally, we have error of skin by its thickness. That question we also have discussed last time. No, not discuss it. I explained it a bit. No, and there are others. It's like commonplace for us. We do remember it's around 30%, 30-40% statistically from all the error of assembly. So let's compare to what we had the very first time. Very first time we had only error of jig and difference between jig and skin itself. And now pay attention, we have error of jig, couple of errors of coordination between elements of structures and jig itself. And additionally we have error of skin by thickness. The longer chain, the more accuracy error here, dispersion of these accuracies or misaccuracies. Because, of course, maybe lucky you are, according to probability theory, it can't be like this. No? If you produce 100 of items, around 60% of them, no, 65% of them will be in a range of 1/3, plus minus 1/3 of tolerance. Yes, maybe you are so lucky that your theory of probability on your side, no? That you are inside of this 65% and you have no problem, maybe. But also theory of probability says that around 5% of objects, they will be somewhere at the edges of this tolerance. So it's important to understand where this misaccuracies appears from. Let's take next one. Let's take next one, and in this case, you will see appearing of additional element of dimensional chain. Ой, I hope I will copy down everything correctly. Yeah. Now, next one. Да. Next one. And in this case, we have even more problems. Pay attention. First, what do we have? We have size of jig. Where is the size of jig? Now, size of jig is 1. No, I will do it near the bottom locator. Let it be, no? Where is the size of jig? Here. Here the size of jig, which correspond to the нет, вот так, to the axis of this hole. Pay attention, your highnesses, that hole in frame and hole of jig, they are shown misplaced. They are not corresponding each other. Why? I hope you do understand that we should insert here the pin. You see, in this case, we can't see exactly these pins. They join element of locator and element of no, the jig and the element of structure, element of locator and element of structure. But you certainly see these so-called clicks, elements which are clumping skins, spars, and so on to each other. And what do you see? You see that you can't see it here. Yes, I see it in my imagination. That pin should be a bit less. Where you might see it in the explanation of laboratory work once again in that explanation that was very first in your semester. Зараз. Почекайте. Fundamentals of CNC machining is great, but we need another thing. It's December, and your name is somewhere. Very first lab, yes, but I wrote not for you. I wrote it for previous group. It was September. Great. September, October, that one. Yeah? And inside of these labs, you have the explanation about these clicks. I'm talking about these locators, you see. That one, how to... не ту кнопку нажимаю. Да. That one, and that one, and once again, that one. Да. Вот. Those locators, да, now they inserted in the element of structure and jig, and or in elements of structure, and they are usually less in diameter than whole in a structure, or you can't insert it. They are a bit less. Let's come back to the explanation. That is why, theoretically, element of structure may shift a bit with respect to the element of jig. And that is, that is this mismatching of axes now, да? It's additional error of coordination. No, I hope you do pay attention to this butterfly. No, sorry, I can't draw it properly maybe here. I will see. No, it does not give me opportunity to draw like in compass or somewhere else with errors outside. No, sorry. No, I hope you understand. It comes about the size here. Вот this size between two axes, it's error of coordination in jig and frame. Somehow it's similar to what we have seen in previous case. Да? Error of coordination in jig and frame. But there it was written contour. And here everything is worse. Why? Here it's written CFH. But we are interested in contour. We see now error of misplacing of two coordinate fixing holes in jig and in skeleton in frame, but it's not even contour yet. It means that before we comes to contour, we have one more error of coordination. That one now between. Так, wait a second. Let me to move it. Вот так, да? In order to understand what this error is about. It's error inside of frame. It's error between CFH hole and contour of frame itself. Is it everything already? No, because we have one more. One more. Look, error. No, some misshaping, да? Once again. Error of that one, да? Contour of frame and inner contour of skin. They're little bit different in their sizes and shape because they are produced in different places and with different punches and so on. Even something that's produced with the same punch and with the same no, in the same die, with the same equipment, with the same tooling, they will have some difference. And the last one, but not least, in this long list of our errors, the error of skin thickness, which close this dimensional change. In order to reach this red size, да, you see, we are passing through error of jig first, next error of difference between jig and frame in holes. Next, the hole may have some misplacing with respect to the contour of frame. Contour of frame not ideally correspond to the contour of skin, and skin itself also has some error. Look at this. Nightmare, no? This technological nightmare. The red arrow, this red size, consists of error of jig, no? The size of jig by CFH, to this, in contrary to what we have in contour methods. Next, we have error of coordination between jig and frame by their holes. Next, we have error of coordination in frame between hole and contour of frame itself of this part. Next, error of coordination of frame and skin plus error of skin plus error others, and all this is resulted in that is statistically taken, statistically proven value. I hope you understand. It's not theoretical achievement. That is theoretical consideration. No, how theoretical? You have seen it, quite practical. And that is statistical data. Very well. I hope you understand now a bit better what we're talking about. Guys, I will interrupt record in order record will be a bit less. Once again, no, I'm going to interrupt it, but I will give you something like review once again. Look here, not here, but in the graph. We were talking about the different assembly techniques, yeah? And it's appeared that a lot of them we have. The whole classification, no, not whole, but rather close to everything. The assembly method by basis, we have on one hand, we may just adjust surfaces and we'll be quite happy if we have such opportunity. But maybe our elements, they are not stiff, they are trembling in hands. So just simple adjusting of surfaces, it's not enough. Maybe even we have a so-called lack of basis, no, like in this case, you see now, designer draw something with surfaces which do not coincide, like this web has no coinciding surfaces with the outer surface of cap on that side, on this side. And it means, not like in our example, it means that we are not able to use, it's so-called lack of design basis or lack of assembly basis. We are not able to use these simple techniques of just attaching the surfaces. So call it assembling by drawing, by surfaces, or assembling by base part. But in this group of assembling by base part, we have tricky technique, which is so tricky. It's very simple, quite common. Assembling by assembly holes. Assembling by assembly holes, when we just preliminary do holes in proper places, we coordinate them by drawing, by using templates or using CNC machine, whether it doesn't matter how exactly it's happened right now, no? But we understand that we have holes in proper places. If we align these holes in different elements, elements have found their places with respect to each other. That is the idea of assembling by assembly holes. And it helps us if we have no enough bases, design bases to join them, no, to attach them, to make them. But again, it has the same problem. It's rather difficult to work with non-stiff parts. Accuracies suffer, of course, and difficult to work with non-stiff parts. Moreover, you may work on with it only on horizontal surface, looks like, on the table, on the workbench. And time to time, this technique is used in combination with jig, but this jig is not really jig for locating. It's called jig, yes, but it's only some fixture for supporting of parts in convenient position on one hand, and for increasing the stiffness of parts, but it's not for locating. Next one, it was somewhere here and disappeared. Oh, there is. Да. Next, it was group of locating using marking. It means that we have, once again, the same problem. We have no basis visually existing. You may touch it. We have no basis in structure. And we come into drawing of this basis. After we redraw it somehow, by hands, by measuring and drawing by pencil, or we are outlining the templates, or we're making photo or photo template on the part, or we're using laser system which drop photo, no, something like laser print or laser beams on the surface of part. Doesn't matter how. We made visual basis. Now we visualize them It's not the same like locating on visual basis. We visualize somehow this basis, and now this drawing, this prints obtained by anyway, we are using in order to attach real surfaces of other bases, or also maybe drawn surfaces of other bases, to this drawn basis on the base part. That was group of assembling by marking. And the biggest one, that one, the biggest one is group with using of basis of tooling. Before, we were working only with basis of assembly components. We are not included with anything to be frank, marking maybe done by tooling also, but it's considered like another group. We are going to use basis of tooling for the period of locating in order to align elements of structure, and next to remove elements of tooling to leave to have only the structure itself. In their turn, they are divided onto two big groups, inner jig and so-called jigless by visual basis, another name of this technique. Inner jig, it's possible by contour or by holes. Do forgive me, I do not explain once again anything about GBH locating because I spent a lot of time when we were talking about junctions. I'm explaining only this BH or CFH, base holes or coordinate fixing holes locating. And we have compared together with you locating by skin, by mockup, by airframe surfaces, no? And by CFH. Last couple of lectures we spent for this. It appears that they are different with accuracy. It appears that they are different with cost. Now, with complexity of jig, with time or period of assembling, they are different with cost of assembling, expenses for assembling, and they are different in time and cost of pre-production. So while selecting, first we are watching the structure above the all. What is the structure? In order to distinguish between the three big groups of methods. Next, we are watching what is accuracy demand per structure. And selecting among some methods available for you, we are selecting what is method that give you accuracy you need. And how to select? The higher quality of technique is the better. No, my dears. You are permanently remember that you have secret aim. You'd like to have profit. And it means that you are selecting something that gives appropriate accuracy, but helps you to save your money. Because customer pay the same money whether you do something extremely accurate or accurate according to its demands, like minimum accurate according to customer demand. The more accuracy for you, the more accuracy for him, it means the more expenses for you. But customer will pay the same sum. Customer said, I don't need it so accurate. It's your problem. Why you did it so accurate and so expensive for yourself? Yes? So first, you are watching what is accuracy. And secondly, you are thinking how to save your money and your time for assembling. Next, we are going to talk about this jigless locating and jigless methods. But we will interrupt class in order to interrupt record. Let's stop for a while.